Good evening, nerds. It's Fenna, and it's time to continue the Overwatch hype train. We're getting really close now, with only 4 days remaining until Overwatch beta's out. Anyway, if you don't know what Overwatch is yet, you've probably not been watching my channel too much. It's a team-based first-person shooter based around objectives, most commonly compared to Team Fortress 2. You'll be using unique heroes to battle in 6 vs 6 combat. Anyway, I've been doing a series to take a look at all of the heroes currently announced, taking a look into their skills and gameplay to get myself and you guys ready for when it goes live. The last episode was about Symmetra, but next up we'll be taking a look at a Brazilian Skrillex.
Ooh, come on, let's bring it together.
Lucio Correa dos Santos is a 26-year-old DJ and freedom fighter from Brazil. Lucio grew up in Rio in a poor area that was hit hard by the Omnic crisis. As the area was in recovery, Lucio lifted spirits of the people around him by DJing locally. The Vishkar Corporation secured a contract to redevelop the city, which they used to exploit the population as a cheap labor force. Lucio wouldn't stand for it. He stole Vishkar's sonic technology and converted it into a tool to rally them into action. It made him a star overnight, and his music became popular on a global scale because of it. Anyway, let's have a peek at Lucio's skills. His main weapon is the Sonic Amplifier. While the Sonic Amplifier looks like a badass speaker and the projectiles look crazy, it's a pretty basic weapon. It fits 20 shots in a clip and fires at a pretty fast rate. The shot is a projectile, but it's pretty quick and doesn't drop down over time. The damage is fairly low at just 20 damage per hit, which, considering when it's also a projectile weapon, it's very low, but expected as a support. Even though this weapon doesn't do much damage, it will be used very often. Learning about his other skills will tell you why. Next up is Soundwave, his weapon's secondary fire. When right click is pressed, Lucio releases a bass blast which knocks back enemies at a short range and deals pretty nice damage for a support character. While this is a pretty nice damage for a support character, the knockback is the main strength of this. Being able to push enemies out of position or off of objectives will be extremely nice in aiding your team. This is definitely a unique way to support, and I love it. His next ability is Crossfade. Lucio always has some music playing which lifts the spirits of the team. It's basically an aura and has 2 modes. Only one can be active at a time. The first aura is the Speed aura. It simply increases movement speed of the team. When Shift is tapped, Lucio will switch to his other song, which heals the team in an aura as well. This is one of the reasons why you'll be using the main weapon a lot. His main support abilities are simply auras, giving him a lot of free time to use his weapon even though it's low damage. Next up on E, Lucio has Amp It Up. He blasts the music he's playing at a louder volume, making whichever aura he currently has active even more powerful for 3 seconds. If your team needs a bigger, faster heal or a bigger speed boost, then you'll need to pop this to get more power out of your auras. Wall Ride. When you jump and hold space on a wall, Lucio will ride the wall. This makes him look really fun. I think this actually will be a harder aspect of Lucio to master. Riding walls to be harder to hit or to jump across gaps will be a big part of Lucio. I heard in playtest the skill wasn't used that much or wasn't that useful, but I think with practice this can definitely become very powerful. Sound Barrier. Lucio's ultimate ability. Lucio jumps up and smacks his speaker against the ground, effectively dropping the bass. This lets off an area of effect which covers allies in protective waves, which are basically just shields. The protective wave shields for 500 damage and lasts for 8 seconds. This wraps up about all of Lucio's abilities well. Even though he is a support hero, he is fast paced and helps his team get into the action quicker while surviving. Since it has a limited duration of 8 seconds, it'll be used to run in and attack objectives mostly, but obviously sometimes used to save the team during an objective. So how will Lucio play out in the average game? Lucio's playstyle for support actually looks fast-paced and exciting. Taking position in the middle of allied heroes will be the way to go, and choosing which aura is best to use for the current scenario. If allies need healing, then obviously the heal aura. If running into combat, then the move speed aura. Now, that makes it sound very simple, but there will be scenarios where it will be harder to select which aura is best to use, especially when deciding to use Amp It Up. Sometimes the move speed aura will be able to save your allies more effectively than the healing aura would. For example, against slower moving projectiles or a hero chasing down an allied hero. Either way, you will need extremely good awareness of the situation to effectively use auras, and it will be a big thing. Amp It Up should be used on almost every cooldown, otherwise you're wasting effectiveness of auras. There will be rare scenarios where you save it to rush into an objective though. Since you will be positioning yourself in the middle and you have good escape mechanism and healing with Amp It Up, this allows you to add some damage to the team. Something I think will be very crucial on Lucio is darting in at the right time or protecting an ally with the right click of the weapon to knock back enemies. Judging whether you can survive damage to go in and knock back an enemy hero will be nice, or just being ready to knock back closer range heroes off of your allies. As said, when talking about the ability, popping the ultimate when your team is under fire on an objective, or when planning to rush an objective down, will be the best use of it. Lucio's strength will be with aggressive teams who want to move into the fight fast, or against an enemy team with short range heroes like Reaper, so he can knock them back and help out the team that way. So what is his weakness? Well, since he's a support hero, any damage heroes will be his weakness and he will have to stay away from them. However, closer range damage heroes will not be as much of a problem as he has the Sonic Blast on his weapon to knock them back. So I'm thinking heroes like Pharah, McCree, and Widowmaker will all be nice heroes for taking out Lucio if they can get to him. That does it for this brief look at Lucio. I wasn't too excited for Lucio before checking him out. His appearance looked a bit silly to me with the musical weapon and stuff. However, after checking him out, I think he's actually my favorite support by far. As said in previous videos, I love fast-paced, aggressive characters. While he's not aggressive at putting out damage himself, he will allow the team to be played aggressive. I like. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Peace, nerds.